Hello, in this video I'm going to walk through a question from the exam preparation work. Again, I'm not actually going to work through this one. This is just going to be a verbal explanation of a solution. You can find, if you're in my class, you can find this under your teacher tab, exam preparation, and then there's a specific tab that says related questions, requested questions, pardon me. So, Merab works in a department store selling sports equipment. Baseball gloves cost $29 each and bats cost $14 each. One shift he sells 28 items. His receipt totals $647. So we want to know how many bats did Merab sell and how many gloves did he sell. So this is a systems of equation problem, and what we're going to do is we're going to work through our 5 steps of a word problem and solve the system. So our first step, which is right here, is we want to declare a variable. So in this case, I said let x represent the gloves sold, and I said let y represent the bats sold. So since we have 2 unknowns here, what we're going to do is we're going to find 2 equations that we can then use to solve this system. There's a general overarching rule we kind of keep in mind, and that is the number of unknowns has to equal the number of equations in order for us to solve those unknowns. So in this case, I have 2 unknowns, I need 2 equations. So the first equation is, well, if I sold a total of 28 items, the number of bats plus the number of gloves, the number of gloves plus the number of bats is going to be 28. And then if I sold a total of Merab sold a total of $647 worth of goods, it's going to be $29, which is the cost per glove, times the number of gloves, plus $14, which is the cost per bat, times the number of bats. And now I work through one of my techniques, and I use the technique here called substitution. So I took equation 1 and I isolated for x, and then I called that equation star, and then I substituted, hence the name substitution, star into 2. So we see here we have 29 times 28 minus y, and don't forget those brackets, and then we have to distribute this 29 into that binomial, plus 14y equals 647, and then I work through a little algebra here. So what I'm going to do is here I group my y's, I subtracted 812 from both sides of the equation, and I worked out that y is 11. Now I chose specifically to solve for y here because in this problem the first part is how many bats did Merab sell, and y represents the number of bats. So then to find the number of gloves, I simply sub y equals 11 into either equation. I chose to sub it into equation 1, and then I worked it out and I get 17. So Merab sold 17 gloves. So again, this is it's a question about selling some sort of item, but what we're really trying to see here that you can do is apply that one of those techniques to solve a systems of equation. The last thing we probably want to do here is we probably want to do a check. And even if you're not asked for a check, it's always good to do that. So we're going to take our x and y and sub it into one equation. So we're going to check using equation. Let's use equation 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to say 29 times x, and x is 17, plus 14 times y, and y is 11, equals 647. Now, I'd love to impress you with some mental math here, but I have my calculator next to me, so I'm going to say 29 times 17, which gives me 493. I will show you a fun mental math trick. Is 11 times any 2-digit number is we split that number up. So we split 14 up, and then in the middle we put the sum of the 2 digits, so 154. And then hopefully, if I've done this right, I'm going to see that 493 plus 154 should give me 647. And I feel great about this. So this is called a left side, right side check. I hope that helped.